Taking your initial loops and turning them into a full arrangement is never easy, but of course very necessary if you want to finish up some music. So I actually took the loop or idea that we worked on in the last video and turned it into a full track. And I kind of wanted to share the takeaways or approaches that I used in there and just basically show you some things that might help you with your arrangements. But if you're curious to listen to the full track, I actually released it in my new EP. You can find some links in the description leading to the most common streaming platforms like Spotify or Apple Music. Or if you want to download it, you can head over to volumo.com. But now, let's jump right in. So in the last video, we kind of started an idea and had a little deep house loop going. And just as a quick reminder, we had this very simple bass line with this chord sound. With a vocal also. Little call and response pad. We had like a piano fill, little guitar, and then of course these drums. So that's really it, what we had so far. And now we want to turn this into a track. I guess that's a typical situation where you just have a loop. And tip number one, if you don't really know where to start or where to go, it always helps to work into a structure instead of having to plan everything in your head. So it doesn't matter if you're in clip view or wherever, you just take this and kind of put it into an appropriate length for your track. So in this case, we're making a deep house track. Can be anything between 4 minutes and 10, I guess, but let's go for like 5 minutes. I would just paste this over a bunch of times. Maybe if you're even faster, if you just copy this over like this. So let's take it all the way to 5 minutes. This would kind of be step number one, which brings us straight to tip number two. You should understand your arrangement type. Some things are more energetic, some things are more chill and loungy. Some things you want to have like something that really grabs your attention for a 2.5 minute Spotify track that generates a lot of plays. Maybe you have something that's kind of beachy and playing in the background. Your arrangement really depends on what you want the track to do and also what the state of mind of the people listening is. For example, if you want a lot of attention or something like a short commercial, you need a different arrangement than for a track where people are maybe in a different state of mind and time passes kind of differently. You can have a 10-minute arrangement and it works and slowly builds up. And then going straight to tip number three, if you basically created this 5-minute thing, you can now just start with a basic structure and say, okay, we have an intro over here. You might even give it a name if that helps you. Call that intro. Maybe go into a quick breakdown. You can do this really roughly and just take out, for example, the drums. Maybe make the breakdown a bit longer. Call this breakdown. And then maybe here we say drop 1. Might not even be a drop, but just to bring in a rough structure. Because your goal is to make steps instead of thinking. So we say, hey, we have like a few bars here. Let's take it till there. Maybe a bit earlier, let's do like a 2 breakdown situation where we just take this out. Maybe the last one is longer. You can change all of that later, but it's to be like, hey, I have a rough idea what I want to build and then work into that. And of course, we're not just taking in and out the drums. We also have to decide on some other elements. So once you have your rough structure, I would say you can decide, for example, how do you want the track to start? What's your intro going to be like? And there are different approaches that you can take. In this case, I really wanted to play with the energies and build things up over time. So I went for a relatively empty intro. So here you can decide, hey, what are the main elements that I want to have at the beginning? And for example, our drum loop in total sounded like this. Relatively busy, right? So I was like, hey, all these open hi-hats, which can generate a lot of energy, let's just get rid of almost everything in the drum section. So drum-wise, we're starting really empty. So this is a specific type of arrangement. And you're like, hey, I'm going to start empty. Let's listen to the drums that we have like this. Let's even take out the conga, the clap. We're taking all of this out, all of these sounds, and then we can bring them in bit by bit. Okay. For the melodic elements, okay, what do we want to start with? I here decided, hey, I want to start with the bass line and the chord, but all these other stuff that comes in, I'm going to take this out for now. Okay. Let's loop it. Cool. It can start out like this. Next arrangement tip. if you're starting out in a way where you really don't have much drums and many things going on, you sometimes have to add some elements that create a certain atmosphere so the track doesn't just sound weird and empty. So in this case, I decided to add quite a lot of noise sounds. So you can bring in some rhythm like I did here. Maybe that's for your taste a bit too loud, but starting out with something that just creates some space enables you to make arrangement decisions where you have a few elements, it seems, and then you can bring more and more elements in to create a story and energy, but you kind of have a nice basis that makes the track sound complete even though you have few elements. Which brings us straight to the next tip. You should kind of understand which elements add how much energy. I think open hi-hats, for example, if we check out these hi-hats, for example, these two, these add a lot of energy in your loop. If we take these out, check the difference, right? So understanding which elements add how much energy is kind of good to know, because now if we start our arrangement and bring in elements bit by bit, we might want to start with some elements which are not as energetic and then kind of have those energetic elements for later on. And especially for deep house, it can be nice to build things up bit by bit instead of starting with a full drum groove right off the bat from the beginning. Starting with a full drum groove, you will need to add more and more things to kind of play with the energy there. If you start low, you have more space to play with. So after this part at the beginning, for example here, the claps come in with some congas. But it's not the complete conga groove. Later on, the conga groove gets busier, but adding more of that, like having kind of a subtractive approach to arranging is nice once you have your rough structure and just taking things out. Then once again, you have some elements coming in which are kind of not as energetic as the main elements. So for example, we get these nice little hi-hats in here to fill things up. Then if you arrange like adding drums and drums, you don't just want to keep going and add more and more drums. Eventually you say like, hey, now I bring in the vocal, for example, which comes in for the first time over here. And for that, actually, the next tip would be, I oftentimes think of passing the baton, kind of when people, like these races where you kind of have to time how to hand things over. That's important for arrangement. And when you nail that, you can do many things nicely. So here, at the beginning of the arrangement, I brought in all these drums. If you look at it, like we start adding some drums, but then I even take them out once again. You don't have to have this like very static growing and growing approach. You can almost think of it like a chorus of shares, like it goes up, goes down, goes up and down and things like that. So over here, I'm bringing in the vocal for the first time and the guitar sound that we created from scratch. Maybe to bring this kind of in perspective, let's close down some groups so you can see that a bit better. Here we go. So that's that. We have the vocal coming in. You can see you don't see it that well, but you have some drums building up. But then I'm taking the drums out again. The kick goes away for a second. Which brings me straight to the next tip. If you layer sounds, for example, a snap and a clap, or you layer some hi-hats, you don't always have to statically use those layers together. You can bring in one layer and then afterwards add the more energetic layer again. So for example, here I decided, okay, instead of bringing in the clap right away, I brought in this snap sound right here. It sounds like this. So here I had both of them. Go back. Just to have some variation. And then we add the clap once again. More elements coming in. I'm adding another chord sound, for example. Things are getting a bit denser. Also here, once again, the subtractive approach. I'm adding some elements that I have in here quite repeatedly or quite repetitively. At the beginning, I just add them bit by bit, and then later on they're there kind of in a loop, kind of taking the loop that we had and taking it apart. And for the layering, the same thing is true. So here, for example, we bring in this grainy head sound, which is kind of like a shaker, which adds some nice energy. But then later on, for the second drop, for example, I want to like up the energy even a bit more. And together, these two heads kind of sounded like this. And there's the shaker. And then the open head, kind of with this hit. So going from here, something going on then to the drop. You see how this open head really adds a lot of energy. So playing with the layers allows you to make many nice arrangement choices, which kind of brings me to the next point. Modulation, or being able to change things in sounds over time, is often the key for arranging. And if you put together a loop with some sounds, that often means that you don't have that much control over each sound. You don't always need that much control, but you have to keep in mind that you want changes and evolution over time. And if you have a sound, for example, coming from a synthesizer, for example, here in this Diva chord that I used, which you can of course find in my Diva preset pack, in here, I can change the attack and the modulation depth and things like this. Let's turn up Show Diva for a second. So I can automate the cutoff, for example, and make things brighter over time. That's just more difficult when you're using a sample, which is why I like, for example, to combine a simple chord sample with something coming from a synthesizer. Because then you can play with this later, which brings me straight to the next point. It's like, hey, I need to switch things up over time. Sometimes I like to pick another chord sample, but you want to have some change at some point. So often what's nice is to mimic what sounds are already doing in your production, instead of having to come up with more and more new ideas. So this chord rhythm right here, or this chord melody phrase, I don't know what to call it, but whatever the chord is doing here, it's like, hey, eventually the other chord sound could do the same thing. So in the one breakdown, I'm just picking the pad from Diva. I did quite some volume automation. Things come in. Okay, nice. Then once again, adding another element to kind of amp up the energy. At the end, of course, once you have your rough arrangement, you want to bring in some elements, and maybe I decided to go for an arrangement where the energy keeps kind of building up and breaking down and building up even a bit more. So at the end here, this is just a loop from an arpeggio, which I had to process quite a bit, but it sounds cool. This is like a nice sound to just fill up the stuff that we had before. When I think of adding elements, this one, for example, is kind of melodic and percussive. I felt like, hey, I already have enough melodic sounds and I want something, I don't want to just add more drums. I need something that I don't have yet in the rest of the track. So I went for something that is kind of melodic sounding, but a bit percussive in nature. And that's also an arrangement tip, I would say. Have enough different options, or bring in options which differ from each other. So here, as I said, this arpeggio, but just this loop was a little bit too lame. So I was like, okay, how can I bring in enough variation for that? And what I basically did, I kept this at its original pitch, but then at a later point, I pitched it up by an octave to have some variation. And then to kind of go in line with this whole idea of adding the elements bit by bit. At the beginning here, I just brought in a little bit, but kind of created, I'm using once again Baton the Dub X, which is a really nice tool, which I can recommend. Kind of the idea was, hey, I'm bringing in this a little bit, but this is going to be too empty. So I wanted to have an effect on there, which kind of fills in the blank here. Kind of keeps going. So in context. All right, for the bass line, remember I said the bass line was really simple. It's like, hey, what type of track do I want this to be? And I realized I don't really like to add another bass line or a bass line variation, but at least I wanted to add a little bit of variation and fill things up a bit more. And I was like, okay, so what else could I add? And I usually try to look in other elements, stuff that will work with this. So for example, something that gives a lot of rhythm and groove is, of course, the conga. So this dum dum at the end is a rhythm which is really cool. And a conga frequency-wise, already sitting in a certain range. If you check this out in span, for example, the conga hits are around 200, 300, 400 hertz. So there is space for a sub that could be layered with this. So I basically just added another bass track, but a different sample to kind of play the same rhythm as the conga. Let's bring that in as well. Maybe even turn off. Might be difficult to hear on your headphones, but here. And I'm just varying the pitch a little bit. So one is a bit low, one is a bit higher. Which kind of brings me straight to the last couple of tips. I know the tips were a bit all over the place. Let me know in the comments if anything was a bit unclear or you would like me to go into more detail into certain aspects of arrangements or in this track specifically. But just like any other thing, arrangement is something that you have to practice. And I feel like often people, when they start out, they don't have the vision yet and the experience to create a full track. They don't know exactly what a full track needs. And because of that, they stop. But that's kind of dangerous because then you never practice these final steps of the production. If you don't practice them, you won't have the vision of what it takes to finish up a track. And it's also much easier to give feedback, for example, if you just send an unfinished track that's like 5 minutes long. You could be like, hey, you need some changes over there, or maybe take out some elements here and there. It's easier to do that into a framework or work into a skeleton or talk about that in a way where you already have like a rough arrangement. So the moment you have somewhat of a working loop, I would just drag it out, even if you're just puzzling around for a moment, to then work into that framework to kind of get rid of this moment where like, okay, what's next? If you try to do that in your head, it doesn't work out that well. And also in this context, there are different levels of difficulties in arrangement. There are some crazy tracks which are all over the place. And if you're starting out, that's maybe not what I would aim for. Some nice and simple arrangements where you start out with few elements, start adding them bit by bit, taking them out, bringing them back in. It's just more reachable for many producers at this point or at the stage which they are. So kind of have clear that maybe you should go for something slightly more easy in the beginning, but this way at least cover each of the steps of the production cycle, right? Because otherwise you just won't practice how to arrange and it's just going to be difficult. Anyway, I hope you found this helpful. Let me know in the comments what you think. Check out my EP and I'm looking forward to see you in the next one.